Reacting to Sarah Boone's neighbor Vincent giving his statement of events the night that Sarah Boone's boyfriend, George Torres, died in her suitcase after she zipped him up in there, and then she went up to bed after they had been drinking and probably arguing and fighting. Let's hear what her neighbor has to say about that night.
This is the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This is in reference to case number 20-17904. The date is February 27th, 2020. The time is approximately 17:49 hours. I am located at the Tealwood apartment complex at, what's the building number? 474, Tealwood apartment complex. I am talking to the resident of one of the residents. Sir, can you give me your name, please?
It's Vincent.
And what's your date of birth, sir?
1999.
All right, is it okay if I call you Vincent?
Of course.
Okay, well, like I said, my name's Scott Lowe, and I'm the homicide detective with the Sheriff's Office. Please just call me Scott. Obviously, we're out here today talking about an incident that occurred with the residents of Apartment 3, which are your direct next-door neighbors, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to kind of preface and start out with a couple of different basic questions. How long have you been living in apartment?
The end of January was a year, so about a year and a month.
Year and a month?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your apartment, from what I can see, is a single-story apartment. It's not a townhome like your neighbors, correct?
Yes, no, it's a single story, yeah.
Okay. Is your bedroom the one in the back, next to the back wall?
Yeah, it's the one where you can see the kick out from the back patio of their apartment there, yeah.
That's what I was wondering. So your bedroom is right next to their back patio?
Yes.
So you get to hear everything that's going on in the back patio, or is it
on the back
airtight?
patio and the living room, because their living room at the bottom of their stairs is right next to where my head lays on my bed.
Okay.
So literally, and it was like an every night thing, with the beat, and it wasn't even just him on her. It was like they were going at it, at each other, and it was
really?
it was just really bad and really loud, every night.
Was it, you mean verbally?
No, physically, yeah. It was
So what were you hearing?
It was I don't it was never I couldn't physically hear hitting, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I heard thrown up thrown up against the wall, or I've heard thrown down the stairs a few times. It's just
wow.
and it's that's a very clear sound, you know what I mean? You hear somebody up.
He said that he's heard throwing down the stairs a few times, not just once. That's why I speculate that she put George in the suitcase upstairs and then pushed the entire suitcase with him in it downstairs. He'll go on and you'll probably think the same thing after hearing what he has to say.
You're going to get down here very fast, and it's you just kind of know what happened.
Okay.
And it's and the reason that I've never said anything about it, or I was just kind of minding my own business, is because I literally found out that this happened so often, and they were known by the local police here or whatever, that all the neighbors just stopped calling because the police were tired of it, pretty much. Not tired of it, but
No,
it was
I know what you mean, though.
it was just it was an every week thing, once or twice a week. So it was I don't know. And then there was the one night I was standing on my back patio, I was smoking a cigarette, and then she just randomly walked over and started talking to me about how she knows I can hear stuff. And then she was just if you ever hear anything get really loud or whatever, just keep quiet about it. Pretty much she was respectfully try to mind your own, keep it to yourself,
Okay, to me that's an indication that she's guilty, because who says, hey, if you ever hear any kind of fighting going on between the two of us, just keep it to yourself and don't say anything about it? That sounds like the perpetrator. Because if she were a victim, she'd be saying, please help me and call the police, call 911 if you hear anything. But no, she's saying, don't say a word about it. It's my business. I'll beat him up if I want to.
Okay. I was whatever,
You do you, I'll do me.
Pretty much. That, I go to
gotcha.
school down here. I'm from New Jersey. I don't live in Florida. I'm just here to do my school and live my life. And it's like, so for her to tell me like, don't really pay attention, I was just like, all right,
How long ago was that, do you think?
A few months, probably like 3.5, 4 months ago, probably. She was just like telling me like, just keep quiet, like if you hear it, pretty much. And I was just like, whatever.
Okay. Did you ever hang out with them on the back porch?
Yeah,
That?
yeah.
You've hung out with them?
Yeah, I have, and it was like, not for like long periods of time, but like, I'm a musician, so like they heard me playing guitar the one day, so they asked me to come over and tune their son's guitar. So I tuned their son's guitar for them and everything, and I was playing on the back porch because, I write songs, so they were like asking me if they can hear it and everything. And I was like, yeah, sure. I had nothing going on, so I went back there and I was hanging out with them and I was playing some guitar, and I did it a few times, and then I was actually in their apartment a few times. Like, he was an artist, and he was showing me like a bunch of his paintings and like artist drawings and stuff like that. So I mean, like, they were cool people, but like there was something going on, especially with Sarah. You know what I mean? Like, there was something going on with her.
I like that part. He said that he could tell something was going on, especially with Sarah. So I think that's what everybody notices about Sarah, is that she's got something going on, like something's not right about her mentally. Well, I guess I shouldn't just say mentally, but because physically she's not right either, because they say that she likes to put her hands on people. People, not just one person. We're talking about ex-husband, former husband, Brian Boone. He said that she was always putting her hands on him and scratching him up. What he say, using her claws on him. And then the apartment manager said that she was always grabbing them, trying to hug. We saw her trying to hug the policeman when she called 911 on George. The apartment manager lady said that the male apartment manager won't deal with Sarah at all because she is always trying to put her hands on him. So it's multiple people that she puts her hands on. And that's why I think, that a lot of the physical fights between George and Sarah, I believe that Sarah probably started, and I believe a lot of it was self-defense. I don't know about all of it, because they do have, like, some neighbors have taken videos of George and Sarah fighting with each other. So I don't believe it was all self-defense, but I think a lot of it was.
Like, you can tell, it was like, she wasn't all there,
Okay.
She wasn't all
Now,
there.
As far as like their drinking habits, did you notice? Were they heavy drinkers?
Oh,
Did they drink at all? Or?
God, whoa, like, that's like, I mean, like, it was so bad. It wasn't all the time, but it was like, there was some mornings where I'd be leaving for school at 9 a.m. and I'd like see him like stumbling off the sidewalk right here, like that drunk at 9 o'clock in the morning, or like even earlier sometimes. It's like, it's ridiculous sometimes, but I do have to say, whenever her son was around, that was the only, like, the times where I never saw them ever drinking. That was the only time, you know what I mean? But like, other than that, it was like, they were drunk all the time. All the time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was very visible, you know what I mean?
He said they were drunk all the time. But according to Sarah, she had her wits about her. They only drank one bottle of wine together, and she doesn't like to get drunk. What's her other thing that she said? Oh, there was another time, the time that she called the police on George, and she was jumping for joy, like physically jumping up in the air with a cigarette in her hand. And the policeman asked her that day, have you been drinking? She said, I had one drink. So she very downplays how much she drinks.
They were like functioning alcoholics, you know what I mean? It was like they had to drink to get through the day, type thing, you know.
Do you know their drink of choice?
No, I'm not sure.
When you were hanging out with them, you never...
No, because like when I was hanging out on the back porch, they weren't drinking. We were just honestly sitting there, and we were smoking cigarettes, and I was just like playing some guitar. But yeah, they weren't actually drinking that day.
Okay.
And even when I was in the house, I didn't see anything that was like a bottle or anything that they would drink. Yeah.
How old are you?
20.
20.
Yes.
I'm going to make an assumption here.
Okay.
And I don't mean no disrespect by it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
assuming as a 20-year-old,
Yes.
you have smelled what marijuana smells like when it's burning.
Of course.
Now, have you ever noticed that coming from their place?
No.
They're not smokers.
Definitely,
or drinkers.
definitely not. They're.
Okay.
I don't believe they're like towards like any type of drug. You know what I mean? Like,
Good. How are you?
I don't think they like were on any type of drug.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It was just like very visible, like
They were
alcohol.
drinkers.
You know, because like
Absolutely.
I've had like uncles and stuff that have dealt with it, so like I just know what it looks like to be a heavy alcoholic. You know, and it's just like that's what it looked like, that they just had a lot of drinking problems. You know.
I got you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze.
Oh, you're fine.
Achoo.
God bless you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Were you home on Sunday by chance?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you
I was
hear
home.
anything?
Yeah, actually, I did. Yeah, that night. So I was reading the article online about what happened and everything, and like, it's just like that story is just like it doesn't match like what we heard. You know what I mean? Like when me and my roommate heard, it's just like it wasn't that quiet. Like the whole like it was a joke or whatever, or like whatever, you know. But it was too loud.
Okay.
Like I literally like it. I don't know about the whole like what the suitcase deal was and everything, but it was just
Let's do this. Let's back you up.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of get this to flow through.
Okay.
What time did you get up Sunday?
In the morning?
Yeah.
Sunday, I was up at 4:30. I was going to work. Yeah.
Holy cow! What time did you get home?
I got home at 1 o'clock.
So you were at home at 1.
Yeah.
Did you take a nap or anything, or you just power your way through?
No. Because I get home and then I have class the next morning on Monday. So like I just stay up so I don't have trouble sleeping at night.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I just power through the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get home at 1. Was there already noise going on? It was quiet?
Yeah, it was. I didn't truthfully I didn't hear anything until like and before like the whole loud noise and everything. I just heard like the normal yelling at each other, the verbal yelling and like the whole like arguing. I hate you, blah blah blah, whatever.
That was gonna be my next question. What kind of stuff were you?
Yeah, it was just like the normal like it sounds like a normal
was it
couple.
like a really elevated?
What does Vincent mean that they were yelling they hate each other? Sarah said nobody got out of sorts that night. And no one put a hand on each other. Wonder who's telling the truth.
It was just
no, it was elevated screaming, but it was like normal like
their normal.
Yeah, it was like
screaming.
pretty much.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the normal back and forth. So that was basically going on starting when you got home.
I would say probably a little later in the afternoon. A little later in the afternoon there. Probably around like 7 o'clock is like, because I feel like that's when like the drinks are settling in and they get a little more violent toward each other, you know, and it's like.
Were they outside or was this all inside? You remember?
It's truthfully when I'm home and stuff, like I'm a music producer, so I'm on my laptop a lot in my room, you know, so like. From what I heard in my room, it sounded like they were directly across from me, or like directly across and up. So like either in the rooms there, or like downstairs in the living room in that area right there. So. Did
you go out on the back to smoke at all that night?
No, actually, I quit smoking. I smoke a vape now, so I stay in my apartment now. Yeah. It's just a little vape now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I mean.
Well, yeah, and after the law changed and everything, I can't buy them anymore, so I kind of got forced into it, you know. So it was like. This is just like I needed it to like kind of ease the cigarettes off, but we're working at just trying to go completely off it, you know.
Okay, so but you're in your room. How late did you stay up that night? You think?
I was up pretty late. I stay up pretty late every night. I just get so lost in my music. I was up probably till like 1 a.m. that night, probably right around there. Yeah, and then like I said, we were just talking about it before, me and my roommate actually. That night, right around, it was probably right around 10:30, 11 o'clock maybe, is when I heard, like, it get escalated, you know, like, it's like the voices got louder, they were yelling, whatever, and then, like, it got quiet for a little while, and then I heard this really loud, like, slamming noise. Excuse me.
Do you know about what time that was?
right around 11:15. It was about 15 minute span there, you know, and then
When you say a slamming noise, does it sound like something hit the wall?
like something like was bouncing down the stairs between the railing and the wall and the stairs, like all the way down. Like, you know, and it was clear because like my roommate even said it too. Like he heard it up here and it kind of went away from him, and he's the front room here.
Yeah.
And I'm in the back, so it was kind of like it was in the middle of the house
Coming at
and came right at me, and it was literally right next to me. And I've never felt this before, but that night I was explaining to him the next day because he had said he heard the noise, and I was like, dude, I felt the wall shake. Like it was literally like such a powerful hit against the wall, like the wall shook, and I felt it. And that was like something that where I was like, I kind of looked at the wall and I was just like, that was a little much. Yeah, a little much, but like.
Okay, so if my speculation is right, if Sarah put George in the suitcase at the top of the stairs and zipped him up and then pushed the suitcase with him in it down the stairs, that would explain why the neighbor heard or felt the walls shake. Because I'm thinking if it were an empty suitcase or a person, you know, a person as small as George going down the stairs, like being pushed down the stairs with just his body, it probably wouldn't shake the wall, because I believe that he was only about 5 feet 1, and 103 pounds. So I'm thinking that if he did hit the wall, like just his body going down the stairs, pushed down the stairs, like it's probably not going to be that impactful. But if he were inside the suitcase and the suitcase were pushed down the stairs, it would probably make the wall shake. Just from the shape of it, you know, it doesn't have that movement to it that a person's body would have if it was just their body going down the stairs. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I'd like to know what y'all think.
And this whole time, I really, really thought it was like him, you know what I mean, like going off or whatever. But like I said, I don't know what happened inside, but that's just like what I heard, and it sounded like it was just bouncing, you know what I mean, like down the stairs between like the wall and like.
And that was like 11:15, you said?
Yeah, it was like because we heard like yelling and stuff around like 10:30, 10:45ish, and then it got quiet for like 20-30 minutes maybe, and then maybe like between 15 and 30 minutes around there.
No worries.
And it was like then that loud noise, and then I heard like shuffling around, and then just we both heard it at the same time. It just got silent, and I was just like, okay, I guess it's over, you know. I guess that was like the last, like, then they're done. Like, I guess they walked away from each other.
You didn't hear anything after that?
After that, not loud enough to where I could hear it through the wall, you know what I mean? I don't know if anything happened after.
Did you hear muffled anything, or just
nothing?
It went dead quiet?
No, dead quiet after that. Because, like, you know, the walls aren't thin, but they're not thick.
Yeah, I got it.
I mean,
so they could have been over there talking normally, and you would never know.
Yeah, because like if they're having normal conversation and stuff, no. But like when they're fighting and they're arguing, you can clear. It's like being on the other side of a bedroom wall, you know, because it's apartments and they're so close.
But at 11:15, that's the last thing you heard. And what you heard was a thump.
Yeah,
on the
right
stairway.
it was right about that time, like right around 11:15. Yeah, 11:15ish. Yeah.
And you were up till about 1, and you heard nothing else.
Nothing. I heard, like I said, like a little shuffling around down there, and then that was it.
Did you hear anything? Like, could you make out what they're? Hey, have him grab his buddy's stuff, his food, please. I feel bad. Your stuff is on the ground, and they're going inside.
Thank you very much.
When they were yelling earlier, could you make out anything, or is it just kind of?
It's kind of just like I was saying. It's like you can like hear the whole like I hate you, like, and then like you clearly. Thank you, bro. You can clearly hear like something like the I hate yous and the clear like cursing at each other and stuff, and you know.
I'm gonna bring my partner over here.
Okay.
I'm gonna introduce her onto the recording. This is Chelsea Kepsel. She's actually the lead investigator on this case. I'm gonna kind of
Okay, I'm going to make a prediction that when Detective Chelsea starts talking, we're going to hear a whole bunch of drawn out words like, and so, maybe a few little coughs thrown in.
This is what you told me for her, and if at any point I'm misquoting you, please stop me, okay?
Of course, yeah, sure.
He got up Sunday morning, went to work about 4:30, got home about 1. Things were quiet until probably about 7. He said that then he hears the arguing. He said it's the normal. He's in his bedroom. He can hear the I hate you, going back and forth, at a pretty much high volume, which is their normal arguing voice. This continues on pretty much throughout the night, but at right about 10:30, you hear a lot of arguing, right? It gets a little bit escalated at that point.
Yeah, it got louder.
Then, right around 11:15, they hear this. He hears this banging coming down the stairs. He said hears bang, bang, bang. You can tell it's coming down the stairs because it starts and then it stops right next to him. And when it stopped, he said something just slammed the wall. He said it shook the wall. He said that was the first time he's ever felt like the whole wall shake like that. He said after that it was quiet. He was up till about 1 o'clock. But prior to that, I was just trying to. Did you hear any threatening anything prior to that? Was
no.
anybody screaming, "I'm going to kill you"? Or
no, I never heard anything like that. Not that night.
Have you heard that in the past?
No, I've never. Not that I can recall, truthfully. Like I can't remember ever hearing like "I'm going to kill you" or like any type of like threat towards each other like that. But like I've also like it's very visible with them sometimes.
Right.
It used to be, like it'd be very loud arguing, and then the next morning you see her outside and bruises on her face, or him out here with like scratch marks everywhere, bruises everywhere, it's like it's just very visible what was going on and everything.
Right.
And it was just like I was saying before, I just there was a time where she literally came up to me and she was like, no matter like what you hear, pretty much like just kind of keep quiet about it, respectfully, like mind your own business. And I was just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Like,
you remember when that was?
I would about 3.5, 4 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Not too long ago, but not like very, very recent.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
He said the arguing was.
That reminds me of a song. My name is Luca, and her son's name is Lucas. How weird. And so the lyrics that I'm thinking of were, if you hear something late at night, some kind of trouble, some kind of fight, just don't ask me what it was. Yeah. That's all I had to say about that.
He said the reason the front office hasn't heard anything more is because everybody just kind of gave up calling.
Yeah, it was like
Would you complain in the past or no?
No, I never did. It was because like they've been here for so long, and all the other neighbors around here have been here for so long and stuff. And like I was talking to some other people that I met through the school that live in the apartment complex and everything. And they were saying like people just don't really like them all that much. They were like very. I guess it was just the way they came across, with everybody. It was just like the way they presented themselves. They were always drunk, like I was saying before, like always, like sun up to sun down type, like all the time. And it was like, I guess people just didn't really want to interact. Yeah, because it's like, I'm sure you guys have interacted with people who are very over the limit, like drunk and stuff, and it gets very annoying after a while, So it's like conversations can't last more than like 2 minutes tops, and it's just like everybody wants to go, but they're always consistent about like being there, and that's why nobody really liked them all that much,
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you think would be good for us to know about this or them?
I don't think so. I think I've pretty much like covered everything like that I thought was necessary from that night or whatever. Like what I've heard, in the past and everything, that was just like, it was just, you could tell it was just a very violent relationship that was never gonna do any good, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like it was just a very toxic relationship that had a lot of problems.
Could you do me a favor, raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm everything we've talked about is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can put your arm down. The time is approximately 16:08 hours. I'm stopping the recording. What's a good phone number?
1808
What did I say?
hours. 16.
Sorry.
It's 6:08.
What's a
Okay, well, there's her neighbor. What I like to do at the end of these videos is make a prediction. Okay, so this is what day? August 13th, 2024. My prediction is that Sarah Boone will be found guilty of second-degree murder, and she will get sentenced to life in prison. But I also wonder what I would do if I were in her shoes, and what you guys would do if you were in her shoes. Like, what would your defense be? I know everybody keeps talking about she's going to use battered woman defense, but I think that's going to be difficult for her to prove because there's so many witnesses that say that he was a battered man. She battered him at least as much as he battered her. So I think that's going to be very difficult for her. And, I've been giving it some thought, like I do. I think about true crime a lot, probably too much. What would I do if I were in her shoes? I can't say that it was a game of hide and seek and he just hid in there and I didn't know where he was. Because, they got the videos that she took that night of him hiding, or her videotaping him while he's in the suitcase begging to get out. So she can't say she didn't know that he was in there. So what I think I would do for my defense if I were her? I would play stupid and I would say, look, I didn't know that somebody could suffocate to death in a suitcase. I didn't know that there wasn't air holes. I just didn't know that was a possibility. I mean, you know how they say there's nothing more uncommon than common sense. I think I would go with that. Like, there's not any warnings on a suitcase saying that, there's not any warnings like be careful and don't get in a suitcase because you might suffocate to death. Like sometimes there's warnings, but there's not any warnings on suitcases that I'm aware of. So, I think I might go with that. And I hope no one gives her that idea, but I don't think it would take her very far. But that's the best that I can think of. I just can't think of any excuse that would make any of this make sense. Anyway, let me know what you guys would do and what you think. That's the end of the video.